All right, this Women's History Month, we're highlighting a hidden figure in Chicago's story, a woman you may have never heard of because she's not often talked about.
Yeah, her name was Kitihawa DuSable, the wife of Jean Baptiste Point DuSable, and in some eyes, a founder of Chicago.
People have asked.
There we go.
What is it?
How's it look on your side?
Who are they? What it sparks is this conversation, which is what we hope. With that conversation is this information about this woman that nobody seems to know anything about.
Her story is not often told. There are no exhibits, no statues, no books about Kitihawa DuSable. But now there's a mobile monument. This inflatable sculpture called Founders was created by the Floating Museum. It moves around the city. These are artists' interpretations of Chicago's historical figures, including Jean Baptiste Point DuSable, and next to him, his wife, Kitihawa.
Is they always say they're like colloquial, anecdotal saying, who's the woman behind the man?
This is Dr. Courtney Joseph. She's writing a book about Mr. DuSable and his missus.
An indigenous woman who he marries, a woman of Potawatomi descent named Kitihawa. And for as little as we know about DuSable, we know even less about her.
So let's go back to circa 1780 in what we now know as the city of Chicago.
Kitihawa and her people were established in the Great Lakes. He came into that. So it was really with her foundation, their foundation, that he was able to succeed, thrive, and establish. At the confluence of the Chicago River and Lake Michigan is where they decided to settle.
They ran a fur trading post on their homestead, had 2 children, and did business here and beyond.
How was he managing to keep a home and a business and 2 children going while traveling around the Midwest for business? And you have to look at Kitihawa for that.
All of their businesses in trade, agriculture, relationships, international relationships continued on with her at the helm.
This is Starla Thompson, an indigenous educator.
My work is really centered around Kitihawa's story.
Like Kitihawa, Starla is Potawatomi.
I feel the presence of my relatives.
She's performed a healing jingle dress dance in front of the Founders Monument bearing Kitihawa's likeness, helping the Floating Museum bring her story that's not told to life.
What is that about? Why can't we Google and find anything?
This is, again, so much tied to the ways and who gets to write history. I end up calling Chicago the white city, a nation that focuses on white men with money, white men who can read, white men with power as the makers of history. To then say this is a city that started and thrived and flourished under an indigenous woman and a black man of Haitian descent, that doesn't fit the story. And so it's not surprising to me that they get, virtually ignored, in some ways written out of the history.
So the inflatable sculpture you saw in that story, just one of the Floating Museum's mobile monuments highlighting historical figures of colors whose roles are often overlooked. The goal here is to move these monuments all over the city, making them accessible to all who want to see them.
Thanks for telling that story. It's a great history lesson for all of us.
I learned so much, Murrow.
Wow.
Just learning. I just had no idea.
It's amazing.
So yeah, I'm glad I got to share it too.